Okay, grade 12s, now I'm going to discuss the tetrachord with you guys. So sometimes in the exam they're going to give you a tetrachord and they're going to say write the scale in which this tetrachord occurs. So what is a tetrachord? So for those of you who are using my grade 12 book, I'm now on page 35 and I'm actually going to do one of those exercises with you. Okay, so first of all, let's have a look at the tetrachord. So any major or minor scale can be divided into equal parts. In other words, from scale degree 1 to 4 and then from 5 to 8. So there's my first tetrachord and then there is my second tetrachord. Now, this isn't someone that at some point decided, let's see if we can make theory more complicated or give you guys a hard time, okay? That's not it. So a tetrachord is actually very, very interesting, okay? Because we've got our first tetrachord. So say, for example, we have C major. Then the second tetrachord becomes the first tetrachord of the next scale in the cycle of fifths. So if I just continue here, let me get my black pen rather, it's a bit clearer. So it's going to look like this. So I'm saying the second tetrachord becomes the first tetrachord in the next scale in the cycle of fifths. So if we look at the second tetrachord, it's going to become the first tetrachord of G major. And then if I write out G major, so then that's going to be scale degree 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So the second tetrachord becomes the first tetrachord of the next scale in the cycle of fifths, and that is going to be D major. Okay, so of course we are then going to have an F sharp over there. So that is where the tetrachord comes from. So typically in the exam they're going to give you a tetrachord. Okay, so this exercise actually comes from my grade 12 book, and it is on page 35. So it says there, write a melodic minor in which the following tetrachord occurs. Write the scale descending, sorry I abbreviated there, in the bass clef without key signature. So remember that you actually take note of every little instruction in that question. Okay, so we need to write a melodic minor in which the following tetrachord occurs. We're going to be writing descending in the bass clef without key signature. Okay, so this tetrachord can either be the first tetrachord in the scale or it can be the second tetrachord in the scale. So it's just a process of elimination. See if it works as the first tetrachord, see if it works as the second one, okay? It cannot be the second tetrachord, okay? So in other words, I wrote this out now. So say for example we were looking at E flat melodic minor. In other words, this must be the last part of my scale. So that tetrachord should be the second tetrachord of my scale. So in E flat major, you first have to work out what your relative major key is, and that is G flat major. And I wrote it here on the board for you. So G flat major's key signature is B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, and then C flat. Okay, so if this is the second tetrachord, it would mean that we need to raise the 6th and the 7th scale degree. And because we have a B flat and a C flat according to our key signature, it means that the B flat and the C flat will be raised. And like you can see, that's not what we have over there. So we do have the C, but we still have the D flat. Okay, so it can't be the second tetrachord, so it has to be the first tetrachord, and that's now what I'm going to write out. So in other words, the scale that we are looking at here is going to be B flat melodic minor, and the relative major there is D flat major. So let's have a look at how our scale is going to look. We don't need this anymore, so just to clear the board a bit and make it less confusing and cluttered, let's just do that. Okay, so it says that we need to write the scale descending in the bass glyph. Okay. Okay, so we already know that we're going to be starting on B flat. So I'm going to start over there. Oh, sorry, we just made it. Okay, so now we're just going to number the scale degrees. So we have 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so I checked, I didn't write any of them twice, I didn't skip any. I think let's just quickly check. Okay, that seems right. Okay, so B flat melodic minor descending. Okay, and I'm glad we've got this example and it's without key signature, and you can see that I remember to flatten both of my B's. Okay, so B flat major's relative major is D flat major. In other words, the key signature, let me revise your keys quickly here. So we have Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Okay, so F major's got 1 flat, B flat major's got 2. Okay, so D flat major has got 5 flats. It's got a B flat. Remember, we always count the flats from right to left. So we've got a B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, and a G flat in the key signature. Okay, now I read my instruction again to make sure that I don't make any mistakes. The melodic minor in which the following tetrachord occurs, write the scale descending in the bass glyph without key signature. And like I explained with the melodic minor, with the descending version of it, we basically have our natural minor, so there aren't any chromatic changes to it. So in the ascending scale, we raise the 6th and the 7th scale degree, but now with the descending one, we just restore it. So, and I don't need to indicate that. So I have B flat, E flat, A flat, and then we've got D flat. Sorry, I'm in the bass glyph. D flat, and we have G flat, and that is basically it. So then you just check. Okay, so you've got both your B flats, then you have your E flat, you've got your A flat, you've got your D flat, and then you also have your G flat. And then, of course, the last thing that you need to do is that you need to indicate your semitones, and in the descending minor, it's going to be between your 2nd and your 3rd, as well as your 5th and your 6th scale degree. And just one final thing, remember when you're writing a scale descending that you're going to start on your 8th scale degree, and then you have 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, and that is basically it. So I trust that you understand the tetrachord and that it's not going to confuse you in the exam.